What's going on, everybody? I have got a Yamaha, another Yamaha set of twins, 200s. We're gonna do water pumps, thermostats, fun stuff, preventative maintenance. Yamaha. Oh, I think in their books they tell you to take these things apart once a year and inspect them. I usually say every 3 years. Pull it apart and throw an impeller in it, if not a rebuild kit. Chances are your impeller's going to be okay, but this isn't something you want to try and do while the boat's in the water, especially if you've got a big enough boat that it's a pain in the ass to get it out of the water like this one. Obviously, you can see behind me, this one's on stands. He doesn't have a trailer. You can see how nice these bolts come out. Everything should come apart on this pretty easy, just because I've done these. I did these a couple years ago. So obviously you'll pull your 4 bolts out, and then this cover pop right off. The O-ring out of the way. Underneath the cup you'll see there's another O-ring, and then the O-ring on the outside. I'm putting a whole kit in this, so I'm going to be throwing those all away. And this retainer right on the top there, I usually just stick a screwdriver in there and try and pry it up. If you can save it, it's great. I usually reuse them. If you can't get that back out without breaking it, you'll have to replace both of those. Get a tool, I'll be right back. Alright, got my handy dandy screwdriver. See if we can get this off here. No, we just broke the plastic. Get the impeller cup out of the way. Yep, she's been on there long enough. She is not gonna come off. At least not easy. Alright. This is why we brought the trusty chisel out. And I'll go, if you can see, I'll hold it basically just like that. Use the right side of the hammer so you don't bash your knuckles. Alright, got it cut free. Get that out of the way, get this out of the way. We'll have to replace both of those. Hopefully we got some in stock. Alright, now when you lift the impeller up and out of the way, there's going to be 3 washers. The wavy one is in the center, 2 flat ones on each end. Save those, don't lose those. And then the impeller, not too bad for 3 years old. Not sure if you can see it, but you can see the drying spots where it's cracking just from sitting, being bent. This guy doesn't put a lot of hours on it, so I wasn't worried about him being worn. I just worried about him dry rotting and cracking. Then to get that bottom plate off, we need to take, sorry for showing the bald head, we need to get the key out of the way. And what I usually do is exactly this. Force that key right out of there without tearing up that shaft too much, because you definitely don't want to put any burrs on the shaft. And always replace those gaskets. That's just me. If you don't, at least put some sealer on there so it can't get through once the corrosion gets on here. And then dowel pins come in the kit. Like I said before, I use all OEM Yamaha stuff, or at least I try to if it's what I've got. But you've got those dowel pin right there. Pair of channel locks on those and just wiggle and pull up without screwing up the housing. Same on the other side. Okay, in case you didn't already have them, that is the plastic one, the part number, and that is the stainless retainer. Alright, now on that gasket, I am using aviation gasket seal. This stuff's Loctite. There's the Indian head stuff. There's a bunch of different companies that make this stuff, and it just never dries. So when you go to peel off the gasket next time you're doing the water pump. Actually, I'm not going to put that on there yet because I got to put the dowel pins in first. I'm going to be making a mess because that stuff certainly makes a mess. Let's see. New dowel pins come in the, at least in the Yamaha, the OEM water pump kits. These, I'll put a little bit of grease. Let's see. And I'll just do a little tap. She's in. Grease on the other one. A little tap. All right. Appreciate you guys watching my videos. If there's ever anything I'm doing wrong, well, I'm always doing something wrong, but if there's anything you notice that I could be doing differently or better or anything like that, please comment, leave me a suggestion. I for sure listen to constructive criticism. Gasket out. New wear plate. Let's see where this goes. Grease. Put that impeller on now. Grease is your best friend when you're doing these jobs. Where the impeller is going to touch, and then all over this shaft, right where that keyway is going to go, right where that collar is going to go. Before we put the low unit on, we'll lube up this shaft here where it goes through the supports in the midsection. Nice new impeller. And if you're putting the impeller on, there is a spot really hard to see. Oh, camera's on that side. You can see that notch right there that tells you that's where the keyway goes. So you can see when you're putting this on, we should probably put the keyway in. But when you're putting that impeller on, you'll be able to tell where it is, so you don't have to keep spinning the impeller around till you find it. Getting this off, brass punch. Never hammer the keyways in with a regular hammer, because you will peen it over. Alright, keyway is on. Grease in that shaft. And we will she's a tight one. And fall. Alright, Impeller's on there. I got my washers over here. Three washers. This collar, it sits in there right. Retainer cap, and I believe it's 7/8 of an inch shaft, but I just used this rod, it's good 3 feet long. Slide it right down over the shaft, and then you'll want to hammer that down till there's about an 1/8 of an inch gap. About right. Looks good from my house. If you try and hammer that down with a screwdriver or anything like that, you'll get it cockeyed, break it, all that fun stuff. Alright, now, a few different ways with the top and the housing. So you've got this O-ring inside there, we'll change that out. And I use, if I can find it, I use a little bit of a Quicksilver bellows adhesive. Just a dab of that stuff where the O-ring's going to sit. Barely any. And that stuff dries pretty quick, and it'll hold that new O-ring. After a minute or two, it'll hold that O-ring right in there. And then I do the same with the squirrely one. Another thing you want to check is this one's getting to the point where probably next year it's going to need housings. These housings will warp over time. I've had some that don't pump water once they get to that point, so I'm going to be making a note that next time this one's going to need some housings. Bottom of these cup has the notches that holds that cup from spinning. If those don't go inside those little parts inside there, you'll bend those over, they'll push against the impeller, you'll destroy the impeller. This will end up cocking sideways in there, you'll have all kinds of issues. Best rule of thumb with that is if it doesn't just slide together, chances are it's not together right. Shouldn't need a hammer to hammer it in. And then we'll use some little bellows adhesive to glue down this seal. The reason I glue this seal is so when you're spinning the impeller, once you're putting this housing down over the impeller and you're spinning the impeller to get it inside of here, the impeller tries to grab that O-ring and peel it out, and I've taken apart many a water pump and had that little O-ring sucked right inside or cut off to the side or just not on there right. So this is me. Doesn't mean you have to do it. And then the water pump kits, they come with all brand new bolts. I know I put new bolts in it last time and I greased the hell out of them, so I'm going to be using those bad boys again because they're already loaded with grease. So now we got that glued in. We'll do a dab of grease right inside that housing, right where the impeller is going to go. Just a little lube for the first start up. Keep that dry impeller from, and very thin. Doesn't need to be a lot. If you put too much in there, it's going to take a while before it can burn it away to get the impeller working right. So always keep an eye that your O-ring doesn't fall out as it's coming down. And then looking down on it, spin clockwise while pushing down. And that's it. She just falls into place. If there's ever a gap underneath here after you've pushed it down, chances are the O-ring has come out and wedged in there. You want to put some grease in here where the pickup tube slides in as well, so when we put this back together, it's got a decent seal and it'll slide right in. And that's pretty much that. I'm going to tighten those up and get that lower unit back on. Definitely want to grease the spline, and you can see where those that there, and then right there. And then some grease on the shift shaft, and then the speedometer pickup. And then I'll typically grease where the dowel pins from the lower end actually hit